Hey, what's going on, guys? This is George here, aka Mui, and I'm going to be going over my Mastemon list that I took to the Orlando Regional last weekend. It got ninth place. I went X2 in 8 rounds. Ended up bubbling into ninth, but that is okay. This is my first regional. Got my invite off of that. Gonna give some shout outs before I get into the video. Quick shout out to the South Florida Digimon community. One of the nicest TCG communities I've ever had to have the pleasure of being a part of. Shout outs to Devastation, aka the Favela, the Favela locals. Shout outs to Stargazer Vinny, one of my best friends, as well as my main Digimon training partner to prepare for this event. He just helped me test against almost every deck I was kind of looking into playing against: Hoodiemon, Jessmon, etc. So again, shout outs to him. Shout outs to my girl. She ended up being the reason why I went in the first place. She kind of convinced me to go because she was going on a medical school leave. Wasn't going to be there that weekend anyways. Was like, go hang out with your friends, have fun, play Digimon. And I'm like, all right, bet, I'll go. I didn't even want to go originally, and then ended up topping. So it was awesome. Yeah, and also shout out to Versus for hosting the event. Getting that last second venue swap due to what happened with the original venue. And yeah, let's just go over it. We're going to go over the actual deck list, my choices. I'm going to go into detail as well as some of the matchups I actually played into that tournament. So without further ado, let's go. For the egg, I picked Tokomon. I didn't really have too much of a debate on which egg I wanted to play. I did test a lot of eggs. I tested Tokomon, obviously, picked it out of the eggs I tested. Nyaromon, yellow, and purple I did test. I did not like purple at all. Yellow was okay, but the when attacking, trash your top security to gain a memory typically didn't feel great when trying to build a stack. That just felt great to keep turn, sort of. Not keep turn, but like gain more memory to go off, but it never felt like super useful. The only benefit playing Yaramon had was getting that BT16 Salamon, I believe. It's a really strong card. It's like a very, very good rookie. But the Tokomon egg is just superior in terms of cycling. If you need pieces, you want to play this. And it's like one of the better eggs to also pair with one of the best rookies, if not the best rookie in the deck. And one of the best rookies, I think, printed for yellow at all is Patamon. This rookie is broken. I fully expect this to possibly get hit in the next ban list. Maybe, depending on if they want to hyper focus on Hudie or not. But this thing is broken. Like, start of main, you hit a level 4 vaccine, you evo into it, you gain a memory, you draw a card. Tokomon procs, you draw a card again. And if you hit ST10 Gato, you're actually just cooking because now you just essentially have training over the Gato, or over the Patamon, rather. Insane. I had a 50% success rate with the Patamon. I didn't really rely on it too much, to be honest. The only time I pushed out with it much at all was either post me setting up the level 4, so I would go into Mastemon, then tuck a level 4 under it, or under security, and then evo into Pat in the back later. Or I just got lucky, hit it in like turn 2. But I think twice I whiffed on it. Once where it was especially necessary to hit. I think it was in like a Maste mirror round 7. But again, this card is broken. It's just one of the best rookies in the deck. But I think people overly glaze the start of main effect. I think it's broken when it hits, but I think it's trash when it whiffs. And if you rely on it too much, I think you're probably playing Maste a little wrong. I think you have to keep in mind your hand. If you have your pieces and you have a level 4, especially ST10 Gato, you should probably just evo into it in the back. Because you're effectively kind of playing with training in the back as well on that ST Gato, which is really, really important, especially that end of turn DNA. Next rookie, we're playing 2 Salamon. This one was like kind of a last minute decision. I did not like how much I was testing and constantly whiffing Patamon when I really needed it. And just not having an avenue to DNA if I didn't see ST Gato or EX6 Mirai. Salamon is the other avenue you can get, and it feels like just traditionally building a stack, which is really, really important sometimes in Digimon. there were 2 or 3 games where I just made a generic stack, made level 3, level 4, level 5, push out, hard play, one of the CS versions of the level 5, and just DNA off of that. And then you get a lot of mileage off of that. It lets you get started when you don't have the necessary pieces, quote unquote, that you need to actually get started, like ST10 Gato, like EX6 Mirai, like Patamon, etc. So Salamon is a good backup plan rookie. It obviously isn't great any other way, but it is also a vaccine, so you can bot sec it with the Patamon. But other than that, it's really just there as a backup plan, but that was definitely clutch. If I had put any other card where Salamon is, there are some games I probably would have definitely lost. And then Pillowmon is my last rookie. Pillowmon is the best Floodgate I think you can play in this deck currently, because of just certain matchups that are it just obliterates decks in. Mainly, the biggest one is Royal Knights. Having this to deal with Omegamon in their egg is just insane. It won me a game against Royal Knights. So, yeah, just the best Floodgate to have. You could also play Psychmon. You could play, what's it called? Tapermon. You can play Cutemon. I tested all of those. Psychmon was okay, but was really obviously just dead in a lot of matchups. You can't really Evo into it in the back because it's purple. Cutemon was okay too, but I just preferred the Pillowmon. And we're only playing 7 rookies. I never really had an issue with rookies. Didn't feel like I bricked too hard with the rookies. There was one game where I didn't see rookies for like half the deck, but I already had the setup to play the game anyways, so you didn't really need to see the rookies in those situations. Onto the level 4s, we're playing 4 of the ST10 Gatomon. This is the best Gatomon in the deck. It searches generically yellow-purple. It's essentially a training on legs where you just Evo into your level 5s for a reduced cost of 2. With EX6 Mirai, you're Evoing for free. This card's broken in the deck, obviously, and it has end of turn DNA. So, I mean, there's just not much else to say. Evos for 3, which sucks, but I mean, it kind of needs to Evo for 3, low-key. This card does way too much if it Evoed for 2. Next, we are playing the 2 Gatomon from BT15. This card's really fucking good. I low-key was gonna play 3, but I think I made the better decision not to. It is gain a memory when a card is removed from your security all turns. It plays itself out when it's trashed by an effect in security, and it has barrier, so you can just like swing with it. If it dies, you just barrier and you gain memory. So really strong. It also is very good in combo with CS Mastemon. You can play it out with CS Mastemon. You trash your top 3 or you trash until you have 3 security. You gain a memory, and then you can choose to actually put it underneath your security to set up a Patamon later, which I did a few times actually. And it actually set up just like a backup plan in case I got the clapback on me when setting up my CS Mastemon. So really, really good card. Honestly, it's expensive, unfortunately. This is an expensive level 4. I think it's like $20 just for the normal rarity, and then like if you're gonna go altar, it's even more. I think it's like 50. But it's a very, very strong level 4 for a reason. 2 Repamon. This card won me round 8 nasty. Like, nasty won me round 8. I was playing against Jess Genku, and the player did not have the +1 inheritables off of Balhuck or Huckmon on his stack twice in a row. And I just went into double Repamon, trash top security, make it -12, and just killed it on the next turn once it wasn't invincible anymore. This Repamon also plays itself from trash. That's very, very strong. It plays itself from security when it's removed from security by an effect. So very, very strong. That came up maybe twice. The Gatomon came up like 3 times, I think, where I trashed it from security. And then the -2 inheritable is decent too. It came up against, I think it was against Jess Genku. It came up where I -2 then rune moded Sistermon CL Awakened. So really good inclusion. Some people don't like Repamon as much. I love it. It's actually a really strong card. It also gets rid of certain floodgates. And then Gatomon EX6. Gatomon EX6 is not my favorite rookie, or not my favorite rookie. Not my favorite level 4. but it's necessary search that you're gonna need in the deck. Consistency is key, especially with Mastemon, because you are playing kind of like an oddball amount of cards. You're playing a lot of level 5s, you're playing a lot of level 4s to facilitate the Patamon. You're not playing as many rookies. So you're gonna need to find your search when you can, and this gets pieces, this gets Mirai. It's just important for that reason. I never whiffed on this at all the entire tournament, so I got pretty lucky with that. But obviously this card can whiff pretty nasty. It's happened to me before. The -2 DP inheritable again is also pretty good, so it can add up depending on what you're trying to get rid of on the board. Next we are playing 2 of the BT11 Angelwomon. This one is pretty important in my opinion. Having blocker inheritable on your Mastemons is pretty fucking good, especially with the CS version, because you also have barrier. Getting to see your security if you don't have Patamon is really important. Getting your pieces off of security is really important. There's a lot of really big factors. Obviously, gaining the memory from playing Lady Devimon's important too, but just the information you get and the snatching your pieces from security is just clutch with this card. So having it at 2 is like the perfect amount in my opinion. I think 3 is too many because you're not gonna want blocker every time. You're gonna want alliance. A lot of the times you just go for game. Speaking of which, the CS Angelwomon at 3. This one is great. Obviously, these play for 4, reduced cost of 3, which is really important in a DNA deck, just playing your piece for super cheap and end of turn DNAing. This card's actually really strong. It's essentially a free draw, but with your security. You're adding your top security and recovering. This triggers Patamon. This triggers Tokomon. You're grabbing pieces from security, especially if you know what's in security. There are a lot of times where I actually chose to play this out to try to just grab certain floodgates I can't search normally in the deck, like Pillowmon that I knew was in security, like Venusmon in one matchup where I knew was in security, like Ruin Mode, etc. A really, really good card to play at 3. I kind of wish I played it at 4, but it's fine at 3. I think that's a perfect amount. And then the Angelwomon EX6. This is good for just kind of like defensive -2 security to one of your opponent's Digimon. Really good for cheating out Mirai if you don't have one already. There are some situations where it was a little awkward to try to set up Mirai later into the game. And then also has Alliance, so it's just there in case you need it. It did come up once where I didn't have Mirai and was able to play it out with this. And then for the Lady Devimon, 3 of the BT11. This one is super important. I think this is the better card out of all the level 5s because it just recycles, and that is super, super significant. CS Mastemon trashing your security means you're going to have some pieces probably in the trash, and this is how you get them back. Otherwise, there's no way to recycle pieces from the trash outside of just playing them with your Mastemons. So getting this will actually net benefit you. I guess you can Evo with EX6 Mirai too, but this net benefits you just getting the certain pieces you're missing in hand from trash. Really important. Retail never really came up too much when giving it to your Mastemons, but I obviously can see that being significant if you play around it fairly well. And obviously, again, gaining the memory from playing Angelwomon is really good too, obviously. And then your 3 CS Lady Devimon, again, plays for 4. It has blocker, pops a body, scapegoat is broken. It's like one of the best protections you can have in this deck for a Mastemon, because you can actually do some really funny shit with CS Mastemon where if they attempt to delete it, you can scapegoat and then still partition because it's still attempting to be removed from the board. So really, really good. That never came up, but it is a play where if you have CS Mastemon, you have this plus the CS Lady Angelwomon. You can actually play out both bodies, keep the Mastemon on board, and then you actually trigger the alterns with the CS Angelwomon. So something to note when you do play this deck is that combo. Next is our level 6s, the juice of the deck. CS Mastemon is really good. She is effectively a super sticky level 6 that your opponent has to address at some point in order to try to win the game, because if not, you're just going to bot sec their Digimon, You don't really care about them just gaining security off of this thing, because you're gonna put them at 3 again. Like for example, against Royal Knights, I gave that guy like maybe 7 security total. In not total, like not adding up, but like at some point he was like at 7 security because of this card. But just putting him back at 3 with this card just nullifies any of the quote-unquote advantage you give to adding stuff back to security. This card's just super strong. Partition. Barrier is very, very useful too. Swinging into a body and then triggering barrier to kind of bot sec some stuff is really, really good. Yeah, just an incredible top-end. But the really broken one is Promo. Promo is fucking phenomenal. Like, it effectively just kills certain matchups. Like, I played into Crossheart. Shout out to that guy for also getting top 16 with Crossheart in this meta. That's incredible. But I played into him round 5. I bot sacked a Tamer with like a ton of pieces on it. And it's like, what are you supposed to do? Like, you can't really play the game if you're super Tamer reliant on like very, very like one-off pieces when it comes to Tamers. Myotis was another matchup I played into round 1, and I just bot sacked like Arukeni and Mummy, and like after that you can't really do anything. You're not, unless you have multiple already set up, you can't play the game after that. Like, your engine's just effectively stalled out. But also this thing constantly playing bodies, if it sticks on the board, if they don't address it, you just get another body. Fantastic card, honestly. Really, really strong card to make for Mastemon. And then 1 ace. I didn't like 2 aces. This ace's effect in general feels kind of shit, but it's still a chaos deck for the deck. The fact that it is a DNA ace is really strong. You just need one of your pieces and another one in hand to set it up. The fact that it only plays a Fallen Angel or Archangel's kind of trash. I kind of wish it just played any level 5 yellow or purple like the other ones, but it's okay. It be like that. Fun fact, it's also 12k, so this actually gets around Black War Gray if you happen to run into that matchup. I didn't, because that deck kind of sucks, but it's okay. This card's good, and also the threat of it is scarier than actually playing it. I think like once you give your opponent that information that, yo, I played this card, they're really, really reluctant to just random swing. So yeah. And the last level 6 is Venusmon. Venusmon is one of the best floodgates in the current meta, in my opinion, because it just completely turn skips certain decks. It doesn't allow certain decks to play, and that 1 extra turn you get can just net you to W effectively. This was really good into Jesmon. It was really good into Hudiemon. Just a very strong card. It's good for also pseudo stalling. And you can set it up with a Mastemon. You can go like Promo or CS, play out an Angelwomon, and then just Evo over it. It's fantastic. On to our level 7s. We're playing Ordenimon or Ordinemon, however you pronounce it. This card's really good for just finishing game with. That came up a lot this tournament, more than I've ever seen. Honestly, it surprised the fuck out of me. I had Ordeni for game, like, I want to say 6 times in that tournament, which is, again, a lot for me. The actual effect of Ordenimon's kind of irrelevant. You're just popping Digimon and then recovering. It doesn't pop level 7, so that kind of sucks. I had a situation where I needed to pop a level 7 and just couldn't, which was, it was Omni X. But even then, like, just the last swing for game is super fucking good. And then just having this be Fallen Angel means you can actually just pitch it with CS Mirai. You can recycle it back with your BT11, etc. Like, it's a good piece to kind of use as like fodder, while also getting it later with your BT11, Lady Devimon. And then finally Ruin Mode, classic. Again, similar to your Venusmon, it's just a turn skip for game. This was really clutch against a lot of matchups where I needed to deal with the board by DP minusing. So, like for example, against Jesmon Genku, I couldn't clear most of the bodies unless I went into Rune Mode. So again, really, really strong card, but a card that is really necessary in my opinion in Mastemon. I feel like you have to play Rune Mode this format. Obviously really good into Hudie and some other matchups as well. And for our options, we are playing 1 Amber Memory Boost and 1 Penis. We are playing Blinding Ray because effectively we're going to put ourselves at 3 security at some point anyways. So why not use this early to gain 2 memory for free, right? And then the Amber is just for consistency, for memory gain later. Pretty standard stuff. I don't really need to explain that too much, I think. This is also really good to combo with CS Mastemon if you need to just proc the security alternates effects. And then next we have Mirai CS as another really strong like cycle card in the deck. Obviously replaces our for our other Mirais, which is really important. Seeing this plus Patamon and a level 4 was really strong. And yeah, I mean, I think if you're not playing 3 of the other Mirais, you should definitely be playing 4 of this. I did have a setter in this deck previously. I was playing TK. I did like TK just to get pieces that I needed plus information, but I didn't like the fact that it was kind of costing me a bit of consistency as well, ironically enough. Like, I would grab something with TK, but I didn't have all the pieces I needed, and I didn't have anything to set up Mirai with, which can be really important just for kind of playing the grind game. So seeing 4 of these, not playing a setter, in my opinion, was probably a smart idea. Next, we are playing 3 of the BT11 and 2 of the EX6. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, 2 of the EX6 is strictly because I couldn't afford a third one. I think you should probably play 3 or even 3 of the EX6, 2 of the BT11 if you wanted to pick. But I think this ratio is just fine. It didn't really hurt that much. There are some matchups where I'm like, damn, I really wish I had EX6 Mirai. But, I mean, it didn't really cost me matches that often. This card's just expensive for no reason. I hate that it's fucking 90 bucks. And that reprint can't come any sooner. But the BT11 is really strong for just making an early stack for very cheap. The memory gain's obviously really useful. Same with the EX6. Evoing with the EX6 plus the BT11 on board at the same time was an SD Gatomon is borderline broken. It just effectively gives you a Mastemon for free. Yeah, I mean, this is the list, guys. Just to give a quick synopsis of my matchups. Round 1, I played, like I stated, into Myotis loop, and it was fairly easy, I'm not gonna lie. That matchup seems pretty lopsided for Mastemon because of the fact that it just bot sex Tamers. My opponent had a hard time getting over ST Gatomon. I would just hard play it because he would play like Digital Gate Open turn 1, leave me at 4, hard play ST Gato, choke him to 1. And the only way he had to address it was going Arukeni or Mummy, popping the Tamer with it to play out Myotis X to pop the SD Gato. And Myotis X isn't getting its effect because it's not evoing over Myotis, so it actually couldn't do anything. Like it just was a body to pop the Gatomon, and then he would kind of leave me at a decent amount of memory to just make the clapback, because unless he dies in security, he's not setting up the Tamer again. So it was kind of a good result there. I also got really lucky with him hitting Tamers in security. Kind of set me up for next turn. I did make one misplay. I actually swung and forgot Arukeni was a blocker. But other than that, like, I won 2-0. My second game, or match rather, was against Beelzemon, and that shit was hard as hell. It was 1-2 for the Beelzemon player. Shouts to that guy. He played really well, but Beelze Ace is such a good card, man. It's so hard to deal with. I couldn't really get... I would clear his board, and then he would just Beelze Ace next turn. And if he had 10 or more, which he did have in Trash, it just kind of clears the board and kind of sets him up for next turn. I didn't have a way to rebuild next turn either, so I just kind of lost. I think in that matchup, you really just have to set up the Mirais early and kind of set up a situation where you're going to have the Gatos in hand to make another Mastemon on the clapback, because that was the only way I was going to get around something like that. But that's more of a matchup knowledge issue that I had. So shout out to that guy again. That was 1-2 for him, my first loss. Match 3, I played into Jess Genku. That was 2-0, I believe. I just had more gas than this guy. He made his whole combo, but it wasn't with the Genku X. Game 1, he swung for 3 security. I just made my board, and he couldn't rebuild after that. Game 2, same thing, but he had the Genku X this time, but it ultimately didn't matter. I think he also went Medieval Gallantmon, but I just got over it with like Repamon to pop it for like 12k, and just won the game after that as well. Fairly easy matchup in my opinion, at least that game. And I've been really well practiced into the Genku Jesmon matchup as well with my testing. Game 3 or match 3, I played against. What was I playing against? I played against. I'm trying to remember. I'm having a hard time memorizing all of the matchups. I forgot. What did I play against? So it was. Oh no, I'm stupid. I'm on match 4. Match 4, I played against Royal Knights. Yes. Royal Knights was 101. The guy I played against played really fucking slow. I don't know. I couldn't really get the logic around why he was playing so slow. I had a situation where he had Crimson mode on board. I bot sected it with CS Mastemon, and he was sitting there for like 3 minutes on whether it went to the bottom of security or not. And I'm like, dude, you don't have protection. It goes to the bottom of security. Like, you read the card, you know what it does, because it's happened multiple times in the game already, and he just waited. I put it to the bottom of security, gained like 5 memory, and then I set up a situation where he had 2 Omekamons under Drizzle. I had Pillowmon plus like a multiple Mastemon on board, swung for game after that, and he just took a while to concede. I didn't really have an issue with it. I wasn't going to call Judge for just timer scamming because he's playing Royal Knights. He's going to play slow. And if I'm winning game 1, I know I'm going to just win the match after that. So I did end up winning the match because of that. Match 5, I played against Crossheart. I mentioned that earlier. Crossheart, again, is a horrible matchup, I feel, into Mastemon because you can just bot sector Tamers. Game 1, I didn't really get promo Mastemon early enough to do that, but he didn't really have all his pieces, and I actually set up Ruin mode midway through the game, so where it was a little bit harder for him to deal with my board because of that. And then eventually he had like 10 pieces underneath a Tamer, and I just bot sected with promo Mastemon after that. He conceded. Game 2, he kind of didn't see any Tamers, and I saw the entire fucking world, and I won that game after that. Match 6, I played against Hudie. This was like Control Hudie. Really good games. Unfortunately, it was 1-1, and then game 3, I had my full combo in hand, and this guy went turn 2 Venusmon, and I'm like, well, I can't really play now. And I tried playing around the Venusmon despite not getting one Digivolving, and it just didn't matter. I couldn't really do much with the Floodgate hitting me like that. So that was match 6. That was 1-2. I'm X2 at that point, so I need to win the next 2 matches to even get a good spot. I played against the Maste Mirror round 7. Honestly, the mirror match sucks. Like, it's really bad. Really, it's just whoever builds first wins, especially if you have a CS Mastemon on board. And game 1, my opponent, she had promo and Tapermon out. She bot sec my CS Mirai and had Tapermon when I had Amber Memory, and I still somehow got the win because she couldn't actually DNA again into CS. She had a hard Evo into it, and I was just able to actually set up a board where I was able to make CS Mastemon clear her board, and then just went after that. And then game 2, she set up, I didn't have anything. Game 3, I set up and then put her under Ruin mode, and she couldn't really play after that. So, and shout out to that player, she was really nice. And then round 8, I played against Jess Genku, and that shit was grindy. Game 1, he makes his board. It's Genku X with Jesmon, swings for 3 security. I make my board. I play double Repamon, -12. He didn't have the +1 inheritable DP on his Jesmon. It dies next turn, and then I make Ruin mode to kill everything else. He concedes. Game 2, I just lose because he makes his whole board again, but this time I don't have shit. And then game 3, same situation, except I went to Venusmon instead. I saw both Repamon, minus 12, didn't have the +1 inheritable on the Jesmon. It dies. I Venusmon, he can't play the game next turn. He goes double Crimson Blaze to stall me out, but can't rebuild. And then I just win. And that was my run, guys. Let me know what you think about the deck. This is such a strong deck, this format. Again, shout outs to the people that helped me test, to the people who were supporting me, and just the good time I had during that event. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section. Take care and have a great rest of your day.